months ago, or it would have not gotten brought up. I have not seen the article or discussion or read about it or anything. I've heard secondhand information, but I'm going to guess that he's got a plan for it right now, or he wouldn't have brought it up.
Coach, with all the success Justin Blackman's had, is there anything specifically you're doing to keep him focused and keep him away from all the negative things that can come with having huge numbers in college football?
The only thing that I've done, and I think that's probably the same for the other coaches, is he has to earn everything he gets, just like everybody else. And it starts tomorrow in practice. If he doesn't prepare well on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, he can't roll his helmet out there and play well on Saturday. I mean, I'm going to guess Nebraska care less what his statistics are, other than what their coaches have told him, that this is a guy that needs to be defended, and I'm sure they've said he's a good football player. But they could care less about anything else, and he has to understand that. That's what good players do. Good players realize that they earn it through the week and they go play hard on Saturday and then play within themselves. He doesn't have to be Superman. He only needs to play his game.
Coach, each Sunday, are you at all curious about rankings that come out and how other people view your program, or do you not care at all?
I don't pay much attention to any of that. When I go home on Sunday nights, late at night, my 14-year-old tells me, did you know that we were ranked this? Did you know we were ranked this? And each week he's told me, which for the first 4 weeks he didn't have to tell me anything because we weren't ranked. But when I get home, he tells me, and I tell him every Sunday, I said, no. And he said, well, how do you not know? And I said, because I don't pay any attention to it, because we're going to play all of our games. And I have a pretty good feel for what's going on in our program and where we're at, what direction we're going. And so I don't really need to read or anybody to tell me, right, wrong, or indifferent. To answer the question is, no. I'm just more concerned about us and our preparation and getting ready to play Saturday's game.
Different style of attack Nebraska brings. To run first, and his quarterback run first, really.
Well, quarterback's a good player. He's explosive. He's got great breakaway speed. Again, I'm speaking somewhat out of turn here because I'm not in their program, but is playing above his years, in my opinion. Is playing with confidence. And I think they made a good choice to go to the Big Ten. If he was a senior, I would be okay with it. You know.
That said, he was benched Saturday in that game with Texas, and so he's going through a little bit of a struggle. When you've had situations like that, when your quarterback hasn't performed the way that you wanted him to, the way you manage his mental state going into the next week, is there anything specific that you do, or does it depend on the individual?
Well, obviously on the individual, and I don't know what was going on there. So obviously they had a reason for what they did. But, again, I'm going to speak in general. I'm going to speak in my history and as a player and dealing with coaching quarterbacks, and then obviously some of the comments I made with Brandon Whedon. I'm sure he's going to go through some growing pains too. He's not all of a sudden just going to play perfect every game. And for whatever reason, they made a change. But I think it was pretty evident in the games before that he's very capable of making a lot of plays. I know that our defensive players and our defensive coaches certainly understand that.
Mike, halfway into the season, you've had a good chance to get familiarized with Dana now. Obviously, he's a guy who lives in his own little bubble, kind of like Leach. So what is it about him that makes him such a great offensive coordinator, other than saving you 30 hours a week?
There's similarities there. Dana is different in his own way from Coach Leach, but he's very intelligent. He has a good football savvy, and he understands repetition and the importance of if you do something over and over and over and over, then you're going to get better at that. And he does a good job of staying within his system. I joke with him frequently about suggestions. And he listens, and then he's going to decipher through the information, in my opinion, and then decide what he thinks he can actually do that fits into the system that the players can actually execute on Saturday. He does a really good job of that. I may hit him again with it, and he'll say, we're going to practice that a lot, but we won't ever run it on Saturday. And I say, well, then let's don't practice it. And he just does a good job of that. He's a pretty intelligent guy.
Coach, is homecoming special, or is it just another game for you guys?
Well, homecoming's special. It's the largest homecoming in the country, and they'll have 50,000, Kevin, I don't know, 60,000, I don't know how many people will be here. A lot of people will be here, so it's different. Homecoming is much different here than it is anywhere else, and it's a big weekend for the Oklahoma State alumni and the fans and everybody that'll be involved. They'll all show up. I have no more tickets, so people can quit calling and asking for tickets. But it's a special time here and always has been. I'm happy that the team is playing well and we could be a part of it and keep everybody fired up. I would guess there'll be a lot of people show up here on Saturday.
Brandon was saying that what you're just talking about, he's kind of thinking he's going to really have to focus in to not be distracted by some of that. Could that sometimes be a problem with homecoming and everything that's going on and ABC coming to town on Saturday?
Did he say that he had to focus?
Uh-huh.
He needs to meet and practice, and he needs to go home where his wife's at, and then he won't have any problems staying focused. That's one advantage we have with Brandon, is once he leaves here, he goes to the house, and she keeps him busy. But I don't see it being an issue personally. We're going to practice the same time. We're going to meet the same way we have. They'll get extra study time on their own. I'm glad they're here. I'm glad ABC's here, and I'm glad we're playing at 2:40. But I don't foresee it being a problem. You've got to be able to manage everything that's outside of what we do and then manage everything that's inside of what we do.
Mike, what are your thoughts on playing Nebraska for the last time in conference play, and what kind of impact does that have with them leaving the conference?
Oh, I joked earlier about, the quarterback being a freshman, and I hated to see the league break up. I hated to see Colorado and Nebraska, because I'm very traditional when it comes to a lot of things, and so be it for whatever reason. But it's almost like talking about winning at Tech in the last 66 years. The players just, they're not going to think much about that. And they shouldn't. They should prepare for the game and do what we've asked them to do and allow themselves to be coached. But they're not really going to think much about that. And personally, for me, every game we play is important. And so as much as I wish the league was intact, I'm going to support everything that our commissioner and our administration and our presidents want to do and move forward.
Is there any particular reason that you can pinpoint as to why you guys have had so much success on offense in the third quarter?
I think the coaches have done a good job at halftime. I think Bill Young and his staff have done a good job at halftime. And I think the players have had a calmness about them and absorbed the information that we were trying to give them in what's been good and adjustments we need to make, the things that didn't work. And I still am very confident in Rob Glass and strength and conditioning and what he's done with our players over the summer. And I think that they're in good shape.
Everybody's been talking about the offense. The defense has really played well the last few games, and it started with getting a lot of turnovers and stuff.
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about how important that's been to you?
Well, turnovers are important. Everybody talks about it, and I mean most coaches. And we'll talk about the turnover margin, and it'll be very important in this game. I'm sure both teams will try to establish a running game and be sound in special teams and limit turnovers. And our defense has struggled in areas, have not been very good in the first 4 games in pass rush and third downs and then fourth and mediums. They've improved in those areas. But they have been good at forcing turnovers, which obviously limits their opportunities and can stall out a drive on the other side of the 50 and then put the offense back on the field. I think that's been the difference in the last few weeks.
Coach, how important is Joseph Randall to this offense, and specifically in the game plan against Nebraska with probably 4 NFL players on that defense?
Well, he gives us a guy that can take some carries away from Kendall, and he's versatile. He's caught the ball very well, and he's protected very well. And those guys are really important. And he reminds me a lot of Thurman Thomas. He's not as shifty as Thurman was at this point in his career, but Thurman was smart, Thurman was tough, Thurman would block, and was a good receiver. And Joe reminds me a lot of him in some of those areas. Good. All right, thanks.